Today, we're gonna go over the 2020 Senate elections. So just to begin with, if you just kept up with my latest video, I said that Joe Biden was gonna win the presidency, meaning that the VP slot will go to the Democrats. Now, looking at this map, we see a lot more Republican seats compared to Democratic seats off the bat right now. So I think the only ones that are safe Democratic at this point: Oregon, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Delaware. And I think during this election, these states are states that are definitely going to go to Democrats by 10 to 15 to 20 points, that type of area. Also, state of Illinois is going to be safe for Dick Durbin. He's very popular incumbent. Now, going for our safe Republican seats, we have states like Wyoming, Idaho, state of South Dakota, Nebraska, states like Oklahoma, states like Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, not Alabama, Tennessee, South Carolina, not Kentucky, and West Virginia. So this leaves us at our toss-up map. So we see what we're evenly tied. So now going into our likely states. What do I think are some likely states for the Democrats? Well, the state of Michigan. The state of Michigan, Gary Peters, popular incumbent. John James will give him like a run for his money, but ultimately I think it was gonna go by 5 to 6%. No big margins for Gary Peters, but John James, the people already rejected him during the Senate race to get Debbie Stabenow. So therefore, I think the Gary Peters will easily win this election. Other states that I think are likely Democratic: state of Virginia, popular incumbent. Just a lot of momentum for the Democrats in that state. The Senator Warner, he is very popular, so he will definitely win that by around 5 to 6, maybe 7%. Another state that I think is going to be likely Democratic: the state of New Mexico. There's currently one candidate for Democrats. It's current representative from one of the congressional districts, Ben Ray Lujan. So I think he's going to win that race easily by 5 or 6 points, maybe 7 points. And okay, now going into our likely states for the Republicans, I'm going to start by saying, well, the state of Alaska, I forgot to fill in as safe, so let's just fill that in quickly. Okay, likely states for the Republicans. At this point, the map is not looking that good for the Republicans. But I can say that Georgia at large will be a likely state for them, as well as Texas. Those two states, I think, are the only likely Republican seats, because they either have a lot of safe seats or they have like a lot of the lean or toss-up margins, which are tilt technically. So I think the state of Georgia at large, the race is going to be contested. But I also think the other Georgia Senate race is going to be the same. It's going to be likely Republican. Because here's the thing: the only ran a prominent candidate people I like, the people around the country have heard of in the special election, and still in the regular election. So that's a likely margin already. And then they don't know who they're running for the Republicans in the special election. For that reason, I'm putting both races in the likely Republican states. Now going to our lean states. Let's start with the state of Colorado. Easy margin, probably gonna pick up for the Democrats. John Hickenlooper, popular governor. Cory Gardner, not a popular senator. So put those two and two together, boom, you have a senator. Also, the state of New Hampshire. Jeanne Shaheen is pretty popular. Not the state of Maine. That was my bad. Jeanne Shaheen is very popular in the state of New Hampshire. She wouldn't have a hard time winning that race. I think the margin is going to be around 4 to 5%. It could be more than that. It could be less, but I think Jeanne Shaheen has that already in the bag. Other states that we should look at for lean Democratic states: state of Arizona. The state of Arizona will not be the super close seat as it was in 2018. It's going to be more in favor of the Democrats. Martha McSally is kind of unpopular in the state. And when you compare it to someone that's kind of popular, like Mark Kelly, it's no doubt that Mark Kelly and most of the Democrats on the ticket will win the state of Arizona. Also, another state, Tina Smith sit in Minnesota. This seat will go to the Democratic Party. Tina Smith will have no problem retaining that seat. The race will not be competitive. It could be a little bit competitive, probably, but it's gonna go like by 4 or 5 points. Now, going to our lean Republican states, we have a lot. So here's the state of Iowa. At this point, the state of Iowa, I don't think it's a pickup opportunity. Joni Ernst, she's not super popular, but she'll get through. She has appeal for that state. And also you have to consider that Donald Trump is popular in the state of Iowa, and down ballot voting will help Senator Joni Ernst to another term in the Senate. Now, other likely states, the state of Kentucky, Mitch McConnell. He is very unpopular across the nation, and his constituents don't like him either. Amy McGrath is a popular candidate, but again, it's Kentucky. You're going to have to make up a lot of votes to win a statewide race in Kentucky. I'm not saying it can't be done, because we saw in the governor's race, Andy Beshear, he won by a little margin, but it's still a Democrat in Kentucky. So Amy McGrath could get close, probably around 2 or 3%. I think it's ultimately going to go for Mitch McConnell. Other lean Republican state of Alabama. Doug Jones, he is popular in the state of Alabama for a Democrat. He's not as popular as Jeff Sessions once was, and now that Jeff Sessions is running back for his seat, I see 2 or 3 things either happening. Either one, the Republican Party in Alabama unifies and they all go for Jeff Sessions and they blow Doug Jones out. Or if there's some party division, Doug Jones could take this race by a couple points. It's like the same effect we've seen before. People just stay at home because they don't want to see a candidate that they did not vote for, such a like in the 2016 Democratic primaries. Now, going to our tilt states. You might be saying, well, what is the state of Kansas doing there? Well, I'm saying that the state of Kansas will be a tilt Democratic state. Why? Well, the state of Kansas, right now, it's looking like Chris Kobach will be the Republican nominee. And we know that Chris Kobach is not very popular in the state of Kansas. So, putting those two together, we can say Chris Kobach has lost a governor's race, which is against a not well-known candidate, and he lost by a couple points. So imagine the House minority leader, Barbara Bollier, state representative. She's very popular in this state for a Democrat. So I think if she can bring out turnout in the Kansas City, Missouri area, Kansas City, Kansas area, and other big Kansas cities, she could win the seat slightly. So I'm projecting that one will go to Barbara Bollier. And this is just considering that Chris Kobach will be the Republican nominee. Now, looking at the state of North Carolina, Cal Cunningham, he's going to win the race slightly. Tom Tillis, and there's a curse in that Senate seat. That Senate seat is cursed. No senator who's ever held this seat has ever been reelected in the last couple decades. So this seat, it's kind of a one term, every term they go and get someone new. So for that reason, not because of the curse or anything, but I think it's looking very well for fundraising for Cal Cunningham. Poll numbers are looking pretty good for him. So for that reason, I'm putting that in the tilt Democratic column. Now looking at another state, the state of Maine, Suzanne Collins. She used to be very popular in the state of Maine, but unfortunately for her, she's become very unpopular as she sided with the president a lot more than her voters wanted her to. So for that reason, I'm going to put House Majority Leader Sarah Gideon for the state of Maine, House Leader Sarah Gideon, to win that seat by a tilt margin. Last but not least, we have the state of Montana. And this seat, I'm going to say it's a pure toss-up just because it's a popular senator against a popular governor. And I think it's going to be a very interesting race. If I had to put my money on it, I would put Steve Bullock to win the race, and slightly by a couple hundred votes in this small state. Steve Daines is pretty popular. Again, anything could change. It's simply Steve Bullock is very popular, and so is Steve Daines, so it's going to be a close race. But at this point, if I had to put my money, like I said before, Democrats will win. So in this projection, I put Democrats 52 seats and Republicans at 48. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on the post notifications. Thank you.